Now, some cars are sleepers because you'll fall asleep before they hit highway speeds. Or you actually fall asleep in it, like I did in my 911 during the 40-day road trip. But others are just straight up sleeper cars. Cars that look slow, but they just go. So I'm gonna cover 4 cars plus an honorable mention that look the complete opposite of how they perform. This is going to be a fun one. By the way, it's great to see you guys again. Let's go. Straight up, name a car that's more underrated than this car that was built in the last 5 years. Yes, we're talking about the Chevy SS. GM's attempt to stick it to BMW and try to take some of the market share from the M5 sales. And guess what? The M5 sold like hotcakes. While the Chevy SS, they couldn't even give them away, which is a shame because under the hood of this 4-door muscle sedan lurks a 415 horsepower naturally aspirated V8. And driving this thing is pure motoring bliss because all of that power is mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. Yes, a manual, which means you get to work for 0 to 60 in just 4.5 seconds. Oh, there is nothing like an American V8, baby, especially a 6.2 liter LS3. Now, to the unsuspecting motorist, this thing looks like a 4-door family hauler, which are key ingredients to being a sleeper. But unfortunately, because GM wasn't really able to sell many of these sports sedans, they're a rare sight to see on the streets. And Chevy discontinued them just after 5 years of production, producing a total 12,924 SS's, which is a real bummer because this was the exact car that Americans asked for, yet no one bought them. I guess you gotta put your money where your mouth is, otherwise manufacturers aren't gonna build these types of cars anymore. So lucky for you, they've depreciated a ton and you can get one for rather cheap on the used market. The Ford Taurus SHO has had a couple generations of sleepers. Close your eyes and let me take you back to 1989, when this top-of-the-line Mustang put out 225 horse, and this Chevy Corvette made 245 horse, and even the E30 BMW M3 made 192 horses. Yeah, there was also this Ford Taurus floating around that could hang with every single one of those cars. Literally a wolf in sheep's clothing, with a 220 horse masterpiece of an engine in an otherwise regular looking sedan. So in 2010, let's just say that Ford had the SHO recipe down like your recipe for Granny's delicious cookies. And the 4th generation of SHO, which stands for super high output, created one of the best sleeper sedan bargains around, with civilian good looks and even an interior that would fool the average Joe into thinking they were sitting in a fix or repair daily vehicle. The magic was once again the masterpiece of an engine, specifically a twin-turbo V6 cranking out 365 horses to all 4 wheels, which allowed you to do some interesting burnouts, because if you were to put the e-brake on, it automatically disconnects the Halidex clutch, which cuts power to the rear wheels, creating an opportunity for what looks like a reverse burnout. Is it just me, or does that look kind of weird? Anyways, 0 to 60 comes in roughly 5 seconds. And because these things are twin turbo, major horsepower looms on the horizon. And with just a few simple mods, 500 horsepower is easily attainable on stock internals and turbos. So anytime, anywhere that you see a Ford Taurus, look at least twice, if not thrice, before you even think about racing one. Plus, I almost forgot, the 4th gen SHO had some big screen fame, as it was featured in Men in Black 3 as their official car. So if it's good enough for Men in Black, it should be good enough for us, don't you think? Let's switch gears and chat about the SUV that is normally known for, well, off-roading prowess, not on-road performance, because it's a Jeep thing, and you wouldn't understand. And most people that buy Jeeps take them off-road. So it makes sense when you casually spot a Jeep Cherokee on the road, you don't expect it to set trap speeds. But Fiat Chrysler Automobiles owns Jeep, and well, they also own Dodge, who makes this beautiful 707 horsepower motor that sits in this baddie. And when you take that motor and you transplant it into the Grand Cherokee, you create a big league American muscle car disguised as a little league carpooler that not only packs the supercharged 6.2 liter V8, but can tow 7,200 pounds and haul 5 comfortably. Because how versatile this SUV is, it's like owning 2 cars in one. Plus, with all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 comes in a mind-numbing 3.5 seconds, which will whoop this, and this. Yes, the ultimate sleeper and the ultimate supercar slayer. And I know that handling isn't a requirement of a sleeper, but the Trackhawk handles just as well as its muscle car brother, the Challenger Hellcat, which is no small feat considering how heavy this thing is. I mean, just think about it. 10 years ago, this type of performance was reserved for super-de-duper cars. And now, a Jeep is thrown down, which brings us to the ideal question of the day. Do you think that we're at the pinnacle of internal combustion performance, like gasoline motors and diesel motors? Let us know yes or no and why down in the comments. And also, if you're enjoying this video, please smash the like button because we're looking to get 17,000 likes because it not only helps us, but the YouTube algorithm loves it. So hit that like button if you're enjoying the vid. Oh, and now it's time for that honorable mention, baby. Hey, can I pitch you a crazy idea? No, seriously, hear me out. Take this weird little crossover from Nissan that puts the fun in funky, and then swap out that little engine with something a little bit more spicy. Perhaps something like the twin turbocharged V6 in the Nissan GTR Nismo, pushing out 600 horses or so, and shoehorn it in that little Juke thing. You probably are looking at me right now, wide-eyed, and you think I'm crazy. But, well, you'd be right, but so was Nissan. Because before I go further, let me just tell you that I never, ever thought that I'd find a Juke that I'd want. And yet there's this beautiful contraption, the Nissan Juke R 2.0. It's the ultimate automobile Frankenstein ever to come out of Japan. Yes, it's a unicorn, and yes, it's a sleeper. It has all-wheel drive to confidently fill your traction-defying desires, time and time again. Yes, I agree with you. It's definitely a strange looking car with fender flares, stiffer suspension, and 20-inch rims to keep things in check. But man, if I tossed you the keys, would you take it for a rip? I know I would, and I probably wouldn't give you the keys back. This Buick really puts the ick in Buick. But seriously, don't click off this video because I need to tell you why this is the ultimate sleeper. See, the Buick Regal GS is the furthest thing away from anyone ever suspecting that it was fast, which means it's the embodiment of a fast, invisible car. So your friends, strangers, even the cops won't think that it's a four-door muscle car. And yet, the all-aluminum dual overhead cam V6 under the hood pumps out an alarming 310 horsepower, which will zip the mid-size Buick from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, which, yes, is not gonna blow off the doors of any really fast cars. We're talking about a Buick. So the fact that it actually can move out of its own way is impressive and completely unexpected. Now, since we're on the topic of speed, check out these 5 cheap cars that share engines with supercars. Is that a McLaren F1 that has a BMW motor? Or check out what YouTube recommends you watch next. Oh, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. But either way, you can't lose. And as always, keep living that ideal lifestyle.